What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Taylor Hinton Speaks His Mind, where the podcast is all about me just coming on here and telling you how it is. Sometimes we are going over our client's form and technique. Mindset Monday is right now. And today I pull some information, some thoughts, some feelings from conversations that I have either with people online on Instagram or Facebook, but primarily from the clients that I work with directly. Because if I can have a conversation with one of my clients and help them work through something that they're struggling with, and that's the type of person that I typically help on a daily basis, my goal is to overall reach other people and help them for free through this podcast. So available on Apple Podcasts. I don't know if I've ever shared much of that or how to access it, simply because I'm really, not knowledgeable about it. I don't really know how to do this stuff very much, but I have it set up. So you can go find it on Apple Podcasts, not on Spotify. Today is Mindset Monday, and today I'm going to be telling you all about why everything is your fault. I'm going to help you work through some shit that you have been dealing with and that's holding you back, because when you listen to this podcast, at the end of this podcast, and you understand and accept that everything is your fault, it doesn't make you feel like a piece of shit. It doesn't mean that you are never able to do anything and you're a victim of your circumstances. In fact, it's the total opposite. It's going to empower you to understand that you can do whatever you set your mind to. I know that is so cliche. It's so cringy to hear that. But the reality is that when you accept, listen to this part. This is the most important part, honestly. I'll say it right now. When you accept that everything is your fault, the good and the bad, everything about your life, about your fitness, about your health, your financial situation, whatever. This is a fitness podcast. Everything is your fault. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger. It empowers you to do things for yourself, because if it's your fault, then you have the power to change it, right? If you can accept that you're in your situation right now because of your lack of action or action towards things that don't actually support your goals, then you're going to also understand and accept that if it's your fault, it's your ability to change your circumstances and influence yourself in a positive way. Like if it's your fault that you're overweight and you don't like the way that you look, you also have the power to change that because it's your fault. If it wasn't your fault, then you wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Right? If it was really actually just your genetics and there's literally nothing you could do, no matter how much dieting and exercise you did, you literally couldn't change anything, then you have no reason to be upset, because you can't do anything about it. Like it sucks, and that would suck, right? But that's not the reality. And it's actually not the reality for anyone listening to this ever. I don't care who you are. It's not your genetics. Your genetics load the gun, right? Your genetics are going to make it either easier or more challenging. It kind of sets the stage, right? It's a framework. It's a foundation for what you're going to be able to accomplish. But it absolutely does not mean that you cannot lose weight or you cannot build muscle. It could absolutely make it more challenging. Same thing with, limitations physically, mentally. Like those things can make it more challenging. You have PCOS, right? Menopause. You could be very challenged, but it's not impossible. It's still in your power. You still can make that change. For some people, that means that we've got some clients that are popping on what's going on. For some people, that means that, like, I've had clients that I've worked with, female clients, who are eating over 2,000 calories. In fact, one of my clients, Lindsay Kurluk, who finished up her program after 12 months of working with me, went from eating 1,400 to 1,500 calories on a daily basis and feeling really stuck and feeling overweight and feeling like she wasn't really happy with how she looked or how she felt. Her strength wasn't very good, right? She was weak, tired, slow, undefined in her muscle. And by the end of our program, she was eating 2,700 calories, nearly double what she was eating. She had lost 12 pounds in that process. And by the way, she started at 142. She wasn't obese. She wasn't even overweight. She was just undermuscled. But she lost 12 pounds of fat and she got stronger. She was lifting way more weight. Her waist shrunk up. She could see her abs for the first time ever. And now heading into summer 2026, after already not being in this program for probably 3 months at this point, she knows what she needs to do. She's going to be fit throughout wintertime, and she's going to be able to enjoy the dinners and have fun. And then as she gets closer to summer, she's going to get back into MyFitnessPal, track her food, shred whatever extra little weight that she gained from not tracking and not being like perfect, quote unquote, with everything. and be right back on track and still eating over 2,000 calories with rock solid abs wearing a two-piece, rocking it in the summertime. She has the power. She had the power to make that change. It wasn't her genetics. It wasn't because her schedule was too tough. It wasn't because like her friends didn't support her. It was because she wasn't doing the right things. Either because lack of ability, like knowledge, which was the case in her case, or lack of effort in decision making. In her case, she was working really, really hard. Like she came into my program being consistent with training, quote unquote, eating clean food all the time, but wasn't seeing the results. And when she started dialing in her food and she understood the difference between calories in, calories out, and she understood how food was serving her, she was able to eat more food, build her metabolism up, get stronger, and lose body fat. It's not your genetics. It's you. It's your decision making. That part stings initially. I know that. I know that it hurts initially, and you might feel attacked, or you might feel like, wow, this guy's an asshole. And maybe I am. And I don't care. I really don't care what you think of me. I care that you implement the things that I say and get the results that you so desperately want, and empower yourself to actually make that change. So this is actually stemming from a conversation that I had with one of my clients. I'm not going to like call them out or anything specifically, obviously, but this is one of my challenge winners, or not challenge winners, my scholarship winners. I did a scholarship in beginning of October, Canadian Thanksgiving. It was called the Thankful for Thrive Scholarship, where I gave away $15,000 worth of coaching to probably ultimately ended up being about 20, 25 people. Some were my clients, some were non-clients, but 3 of those 25-ish plus people got full ride coaching scholarships. And that absorbed about 50% of that $15,000 scholarship. So she was able to get into this program because of that scholarship, which we'll run another one in the summer of 2026 if you're interested and you want to, get some help. And this individual, similarly to Lindsay, different starting points, but has been in the gym on and off. She's, done her deadlifts and her squats, and she knows how to have good technique in the gym and stuff. Like she's confident working out and lifting weights, but it was her lifestyle and her habits and her social circle that was holding her back. And she felt for a long time like she was not able to get the results that she wanted because it was either her genetics or, her schedule was too tight, or maybe she wasn't doing the right type of workouts and stuff like that. And like those things can be true to a degree, particularly like the workouts. Like her workouts weren't as effective as they could have been. We changed it up and fixed it for her. But I'm going to read to you a message that she sent to me on Saturday afternoon. After I reached out to her, and on Friday, I was like going through my clients like I do on a daily basis. And I saw her profile and I was like, man, like she is not sticking with what she needs to be doing. She's kind of slipping right now. Right. And everybody does from time to time. So, and I called her out, and that's part of it, is you're going to be held accountable. So if you're kind of curious about like what this is like on the inside, if you're thinking that online coaching is jumping on Zoom calls while you do your workout live and doing it, that's not what it's about. It's about giving you the right plan and system and accountability, and being the person that you probably haven't had for a very long time, if not ever, to hold you accountable and be really honest with you, because you probably were raised in a household that was, supportive is a inconspicuous word, but a household, maybe like your parents like coddled you a lot. Maybe you were like a participation trophy winner type household where you were celebrated for doing basic things, and you weren't, held accountable for things when you should have followed through. And I don't know what this person's like lifestyle and situation was when they were getting raised. I'm not going to make that judgment, but oftentimes people who have a hard time following through with their commitments, they have been coddled in the past and haven't been held to a higher standard. And then when they get into my program, they realize really quickly that like you're going to be held accountable to the things you commit to doing. Okay. So she sent me this message after I messaged her on Friday. I was like, hey, it looks like your foods in your tracking is like looking really low. Like I'm not seeing you track your food very much. What's going on? Can you talk to me about that? She messaged me back on Saturday. She said this, quote, I'm sorry, I've had a shitty past couple days in more ways than one. So I haven't been the greatest with my tracking or macros. Had a good sleep last night and choosing to get back on track today. Now I read that message from this client and I sat on it for a second. And I thought to myself, how has this person been treated in the past when they've fallen short of the commitments that they've made to themselves in the past. One thing I could say, if I was her friend or her parent who wants to just like make her feel good, I could say, okay, no worries. You know, do what you can next week. Let's try better. And that's like encouraging and like nice to read right now. But does that actually give this individual the foundation and the accountability that they need to make a change? No, it doesn't. It does. There's no objective process. There's no accountability being held when we just clap and celebrate and say, no worries, try harder, right? That's a participation trophy type response. And I'm not that coach. I'm going to dig deeper. I'm going to ask tough questions, and I'm going to demand that you give me a tough answer and be really honest. So when she said, again, quote, I'm sorry, I've had a shitty past couple of days in more ways than one, so I haven't been the greatest with tracking or macros. Had a good sleep last night and choosing to get back on track today. And that's a good positive, finish to that. My response to her was, thanks for being transparent, send. Bad days will come and go, but you can't do anything about it a lot of times. Like, honestly, there are some things that are out of your control. You can't control whether or not you had a bad day, somebody treated you poorly, you had to work a double because somebody didn't show up for work, whatever. There's some things that you literally cannot control. And then I said after that, so what I did say, I kind of threw in some thoughts in there. But what I did say was, bad days come and go. You can't do anything about your fitness a lot of times. Down space. But you always, always, always have the power to choose the right food and track it. Nothing is stopping that from happening. Send. And my third message to her was, what exactly has been going on the last couple of days? Now, I suspect that this individual has not been asked that type of question, has not been asked to be honest about what is going on. If I was a bad coach, I would just say, okay, no worries. Like, go ahead and try harder. No, let's talk to me about what these things are. In my position as your coach, to hold you accountable, I have the right to ask you to tell me specifically what you are struggling with. Okay. And again, I'm not using this as a frame to pick on this person or to alienate them or to make them feel bad. I'm doing this for her, and I'm doing this for you guys right now listening to this. If you have a response, or if your thought process is, I've had a bad couple of days, I got to shrug it off. Hey, let's be on. What are those things that are bad? What are those things that are triggering you specifically to get to a place where you just throw your hands in the air and say, I'm not going to track my food. I don't feel good. I've had a past couple of shitty days. I'm not tracking my food. I'm not going to eat properly. Well, now I want to know what that is. What is the thing that triggers that? Because one, it's going to demand that you get really honest with yourself about the thing that is like holding you back from getting the results that you want. Is it real or is it perception? Is it a feeling or is it a genuine actual barrier that's holding you back? She didn't respond. And I get that. That's okay. I'm not demanding that she responds right now. She's probably not been met with that level of accountability in the past. And these can be tough situations to be put in when you're not expecting it. So this might have been the very first time that somebody's been like, okay, things haven't been working out the way that you wanted to. Let's dig a little bit deeper into why that is. And she maybe didn't really know what to say. So she sat there and went, oh, shit. And it probably put her in a position where she had to sit there. And this was my intention too. My intention, and what it probably did for her, was make her go, what actually was holding me back from tracking? Like, yeah, I had a tough couple of days. I don't doubt that she had some struggles over the last week, that there were some things that she wasn't anticipating that came up that threw her off of her routine that if was perfect for her, then she would have been able to do it. But we have to hold the rope. It was actually something that one of my bosses told me when I used to work a regular job. He said, hold the rope. And he actually sent me a little like 30 centimeter piece of rope, like a 1 foot piece of rope. And he's like, anytime shit's getting tough, hold the fucking rope. That's right. You have to still do the things, even if things go awry. If things don't go the way that you want them to, your goals don't fucking care. Your goals don't have thoughts and feelings. You do. You're a human being. And sometimes that makes it more challenging when you have to execute at a higher level. You have to, despite your circumstances, still follow through with the things that you committed to. Just because you don't feel good doesn't mean that you get a day off of tracking your food, because that's led you to being where you are now. You and the person that I was directly speaking with. If you are finding yourself in a position where you have a program, a fitness plan that you're planning on following, and everything is like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to lose the weight, and it keeps falling through over and over and over again, it's not that the program is not good. Most programs are fine. You could find a free program online and it's going to do just fine. There's nothing wrong with the plan itself. It's your ability to execute when things get tough. And if you're thinking, well, I'm doing fine, like everything's fine, but when something comes up, then that's when it gets hard. And it's like, yeah, no shit. Shit gets hard. Life is not perfect. Things get thrown at you. You have to be able to navigate that and move around it anyways. Your goals don't care. And if you don't accept that, if you don't take responsibility for the fact that, hey, there are things that are going to happen in my life that are out of my control and I can't make them better. I have to navigate through them. The day that you decide, because it's a decision, the day that you decide to actually just commit to making the change and doing it regardless of your circumstances, regardless of how you feel, whether you lost your job or you had to work overtime or your partner cheated on you and you found out who knows? And this person actually didn't say any of those things. So forget about this individual that I was speaking to directly and use this in your own life right now when you're listening to this. What are the things that keep popping up in your life right now that are holding you back, that throw you off course, that make you go, oh shit, well, I wish I could, but I had this thing come up. That thing's going to come up again, by the way, just so that you know. And if it's not that, something else is going to come up. And if it's not that, something else is going to come up. I believe wholeheartedly, very, very firmly, that you need to have a little bit of pessimism. You need to think that things might not go right, because inevitably they won't. Inevitably, something is going to happen in your life that sucks, that you can't control, that you weren't anticipating. But when you commit to being fit for life, you have to do the things for life. There's no trump card of like, oh, except when I had to work late and now I didn't get enough sleep. That's not real. That doesn't matter. Your goals don't care. And the reason why you're at where you're at is because you keep letting those little shit excuses pop up and throw you off. Like, again, I don't know how else I can say it, but like those things are going to happen over and over and over again. It's going to happen. Something else is going to come up again. That is part of life. That's the human experience. Things are going to happen that you didn't anticipate, that throw you off, that make it harder. Fuck it. Now what? Now what? What are you going to do? Because the people that you go to work with who have the same schedule as you, that also have a couple of kids, that also are going through trials and tribulations at home and relationships, whatever, financially, there's a lot of stresses that everybody has at some point in life. But some people are fit and some people aren't. The people who are fit, the people who are at least going to live longer, live healthier, have a better life, have more energy to play with their kids and do all the things that they want to do and feel good in their clothes. And honestly, like, ego is a huge part of it too. Like, you're allowed to say, because I want to fucking look good, because I want people to turn heads. I want to turn heads when I walk past somebody. I want somebody to go, damn, look at that fat ass, if you're a girl. Or, damn, look at that dude's shoulders and chest. Like, I wish that I had that. Or you're that person right now who is turning your head to be like, damn, like, I wish that I could do the things that they do. You can. That person who looks great, who has that physique that you just so desperately want, just imagine for a second that they have the exact same lifestyle as you. Like, is it impossible to believe that somebody who has the same life as you can be fit and healthy? Is that impossible? Absolutely not. There's 8 billion people on this planet. You think that you have the worst schedule ever? You think that yours is worse than every other person? Absolutely not. Right? This isn't going to be fair to say, but it can be true. And again, this is called Taylor Hinton Speaks His Mind for a reason. Hey, it's a little bit narcissistic to think that you have the hardest life ever. Like, really? If we just said like, hey, like, what if that person did? What if that person does have a harder schedule than me? Is it possible? If the answer is yes, which it is, then that means that you have the power to do something about your life too. So she got back to me, of course, and it took her a couple days. She took the whole day to get back to me, and then she sent me a long-winded message. And I'm going to read this out because it's not going to exploit her or anything. She said, sorry, I know I can't let my negative emotions sometimes dictate how I feel with nutrition. So this was that reflection that I was really, really hoping that she would get. She could respond in 2 different ways to that message where I was like, okay, cool. Like, shit happens. What was the shit that happened? It forced her mentally into a position to reflect back on the things that were holding her back and ask herself, could I have changed it? Inherently, she had to ask herself that question. Like, okay, what were the things that actually were holding me back? And are those things real or are they just perception? She said, sorry, I know I can't let my negative emotions sometimes dictate how I feel with nutrition. Sometimes I try to mend the relationship with food while doing this program as well. I've just been super unhappy at work lately because of how how I'm treated or how I'm spoken to sometimes. My job is already incredibly high stress, so working with people with shitty attitudes every day does get to me sometimes. And then there's some conflict in the family right now too, before the holidays, as well as recent conflict coming up with a friend group. So she has conflict at work, stress at work. Her work is already very demanding, and now she has shitty people at work treating her like shit. She has some relationship things with family that are going, not the way that she would want them to. It's December 1st now, getting ready for the holiday season. That adds more stress. Obviously, financially, people are getting ready for presents and all that kind of stuff. So she probably has that going on too. And then on top of that, a friend group. There's also some shit going on in the friend group. And those things, I'm not saying that those things aren't important and they're not real and they can't impact how you feel, but they shouldn't impact how you act. How you feel and how you act can be two totally separate things. Everybody has something that they're going to deal with emotionally, mentally, that's going to hold them back, that's going to make things more challenging, that's going to cloud your thought process. But when you are habit driven, when you are action oriented, doing things, just executing, sometimes being robotic about it is the process that you need to go through. In the past week, she ate food because otherwise she would be dead, right? Maybe not dead exactly yet, but she would be very unhealthy and have lost a ton of weight and been anemic, whatever. But despite all the things that she was dealing with, there were windows of time when she was eating food. She made the decision to eat the foods that she ate. She made the decision to not track those foods. Just because you have other things going on, mentally and emotionally, doesn't mean that you can't still pull out MyFitnessPal in your digital food scale and weigh your food and be accurate. You can just do it unhappy. Do it unhappy, do it tired, do it sad. The actions aren't supposed to be related to the feelings that we have. Because if they are, you're going to be wishy-washy with your execution. And if you're wishy-washy with your execution, you're going to find yourself in 6 months from now in a place where you feel like you're doing the right things, because mentally we are designed by nature to focus on the things that we are trying to do, right? Because in her head, she's like, I'm in this program. I'm tracking my food. I'm doing my workouts. I'm responding to my coach. Check, 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 doing all the right things. But then mentally dismissing the areas where she's falling short. So in her head, she's going, well, and this isn't necessarily the case right now, but this will be the case if she doesn't make a change. She's in her head going to be saying, well, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to, because she's focusing on the times that she's executing, but she's ignoring or dismissing or mentally blocking, even subconsciously, the times when she's not executing. In those times when she's not executing is holding back those times when she is executing. So in her head, she's like, I'm doing all the right things, but the results aren't showing. That only ever leads to a place where you feel friction, where you feel frustrated, where you feel like doing the things I'm supposed to, but not getting the results. And that's because when we're operating on emotions, when we're emotion based with everything that we're doing, we're going to only do things when we feel good. And oftentimes we don't feel good a lot of the time. If we're overweight, we're not happy with how we look, you're not going to feel as good as somebody else who does look good, feel good, is a fit individual. Like if you took one person, you duplicated them, make an exact identical copy of them, they had the same income, lifestyle, routine, everything about them was the exact same. But one of them was fit and healthy, went to the gym, worked out, and was consistent. And the other person only did those things when they felt good. You would have two completely different outcomes. And ultimately, two completely different mindsets and thoughts and feelings. Because the person who is still going through all the same exact shit, but is still executing at a higher level, is going to inherently feel better because they are fitter and healthier, because at least that's working. At least they have their health, their fitness, their confidence. So despite how you feel, despite how you look, despite the acute random things that pop up in life as part of the human experience that you cannot control, if you just execute no matter what, even when you don't feel like it, and I should even say especially when you don't feel like it, you're going to ultimately get better results over time. And you're going to feel better about the process. So she goes on after saying that, she says, but I have felt a bit guilty regarding the nutrition, which had made me realize I want to keep going, keep feeling good, and keep showing up. So there's that at least. And then I explained to her, the program changes that we're making and stuff. She's excited for them. She acknowledges that. She says, I want to challenge myself. Very, very excited to see what can be produced from this time. And again, want to thank you so much for your guidance on this. I'm feeling extremely grateful and lucky to have been chosen. And I don't want to let myself or you down as my coach. That's exactly the type of mental framework that I wanted her to get into, because that reflection on her lack of execution, despite how she's feeling, is going to help trigger her into making better decisions this next week, despite how life turns out, what kind of things get thrown at her. And over time, the more frequently that she can say yes to the right things, no to the wrong things, make the good decision to track her food and eat good quality food, even if she doesn't feel good, the better results she's going to get, the more momentum she's going to build, and most importantly, the more proof that she's going to have behind her that she can do hard things when times are hard. Because every day you're building proof. This is the last thing that I'll say. Every single day that you exist, you are building proof. You're building proof of the person that you are now. Every single day, every single decision that you make. You're either building proof that you can do hard things and execute and be a fit, healthy individual, or you're building proof that when times get tough, you fall apart. And both of them are very, very real. And they will impact your ability to execute tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. The more momentum and the more proof of positive execution that you can build for yourself over time, the easier it will be to be a healthy, fit person. So keep building that proof, keep doing hard things, even when times are hard, and it will become easier over time to continue sticking with it. Focus on your habits, focus on the execution. Forget about how you're feeling about things. Fuck it. Because if you focus on how you're feeling about things, you're operating in the same mindset that you were when you were unfit and unhealthy. And that's obviously led you to be where you are now, which is a place where you want to get out of. So you need to do the things even if you don't feel like it. Okay. That's all that I have to say for you for today. I appreciate you guys. A little bit of housekeeping is supposed to be a term that's used at the beginning of these types of calls, but I'll do a little bit of quote unquote housekeeping at this point. If you are a client right now and you are wanting to get an amazing deal right now on your coaching, we have a Black Friday deal that's only available for clients. I used to do Black Friday deals publicly for non-clients as well. But I want to keep it in-house because I appreciate you guys and I want to work with you guys. And I want to work with other people too. That's fine. But I'm keeping this just in-house. And you know why? Because fuck it, because I said so. So for the Black Friday deal, for those of you who may have forgotten about it or haven't taken advantage or kind of sitting on the fence thinking about it, it's $100. It's super cheap. It's super accessible for anybody who is wanting to take the next step. $100 gives you another month of coaching. Okay. It gives you an entire additional month of coaching. That's benefit number one. Benefit number two, you're going to come to our in-person event at Poseidon Sauna and Cold Plunge. That's January 3rd at 10 a.m. It's a 90-minute private session with just Hinton Nation clients. We've blocked it off, so it's just going to be us that are going there. We're going to hang out by the fire, jump in the cold plunge, hang out in the sauna, have some snacks, and just kind of set the tone for 2026. Connect in person, hang out. You're going to get a t-shirt as well. Exclusive Hinton Nation t-shirt. You're going to get entered in to win a $200 customized supplement pack to get your 2026 started off right. So whatever you need, you and I are going to work on that together, and I'm going to send you those supplements. And you're also going to get a $200 gift card to give to somebody else to get their fitness journey started. With your $100, you're getting a free month, entered into win $200 of supplements, 90-minute cold plunge sauna in-person session with myself, Angela, and every other client who's joining in. There's only 14 spots total. I think there's 10 that are available, maybe 9 that are available still. And you're going to be able to give somebody else the gift of fitness. I know you're getting people gifts right now and stuff. So if you could spend $100 and give somebody $200 off with their fitness journey, like, fuck, I feel like that's an awesome prize. Additionally to that, we are doing the Holiday Sprint Challenge. This is a client challenge. One individual is going to earn $500 cash money in the bank on December 24th. It's going to be deposited into your bank account. How do you win? Super simple. You just do the things you're supposed to do. It's literally, you got to track your food as per usual. You got to get your workouts in as per usual. And then post on your stories, tag me and Angela at hintonation_coaching for me, at angela.coaching. Some. Angela Hinton, you'll find her online, Skinny to Strong Coach. And then use the hashtag Team Hinton Nation. And it could be anything. It could be a post-gym selfie. It could be your feet when you're going for a walk. It could be your morning routine. It could be a meal. It could be whatever you want. Post it on your stories every single day between now and December 24th. The person who is most consistent, who is most accurate with their tracking and their workouts is going to win $500 cash. Why are we doing this? Because statistically, people gain 80% of their annual weight gain in the last 6 weeks of the year. That is right now. We are in the heat of that. A lot of people come December, it's cold, it's wet, it's rainy. We want to eat. We want to stay inside. We want to think about, I'll get back into it in January. Fuck that. We're not doing that with Hinton Nation. All of our clients are executing at a high level all the time, no matter what time of year. It doesn't matter. Dates are arbitrary. We get it done no matter what. And the person who executes at the highest level is going to earn $500. That's it. Super simple. So want to incentivize you guys to stick with your commitments, stick with your goals. I hope that